Welcome to this Master's Level Customer Service Training module for using body language during customer interactions. When working with customers in a face-to-face environment, it is important to keep what they are saying and how they are reacting to it under consideration. Body language is a vital part of customer service as it can have a highly negative or highly effective impact on the interaction. When using your body language and facial expressions to influence your interaction with your customer, there are three main points to consider. A general overview of body language. This will detail what body language entails, how it impacts customer interactions, and some tips and tricks on how to make it more effective. What to avoid in order to make sure that you're not sending the wrong message to your customers unknowingly, and what to focus on, to help you know and understand what you can do to make your body language even more effective. Our communication depends on our body language. Our body language and what we don't say accounts for 55% of our communication. The tone in which we speak our words accounts for 38% of our communication, and the actual words we use only accounts for 7%. What you do not say can often be even more impactful than what you do say. Words or language are useful for conveying information and data. Body language and gestures, however, are used for more interpersonal connection. The expressions, gestures, and movements that we make, and even the stances that we take, all serve to create or to avoid an interpersonal connection with another person or persons. Even if you're saying all the right words, you could be sending the wrong message to your customers if your body language does not mirror the message you want to send. What you're not saying is oftentimes more important or more easily conveyed than what you are saying. What if the message your body is giving is not the message you want your customers to get? If you don't already know how your body or face reacts in certain situations, use a mirror to check whenever possible. Know what your triggers are and how you respond when you're defensive, upset, happy, sad, etc., so you know what your customers will be seeing. It may be necessary to make some changes if you realize that you're sending the wrong messages, but be wary about making too many changes. If you completely change all of your body language gestures to be more situation appropriate, you run the risk of changing too much, not feeling natural about the changes, and therefore coming across as fake or insincere. Look at the overall big picture and go from there. They say you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Your customers may very well see you and make decisions about you before you even know that they're there. Always make sure you're properly attired and that your work uniform or work clothes are clean, pressed, and well fitted. Clean hair, hands, nails, shoes, etc. are also vital. Unless medically necessary, avoid wearing dark glasses at work so customers can see your eyes. There are some things which you should avoid in order to keep from sending a bad signal to your customers. Crossed arms indicate closed body language. To a customer, this might mean you're unwilling or unable to help them. You don't want to hear about their problems or do anything about them. Many people have a habit of crossing their arms over their chest because they are insecure or nervous, but that is not the way others perceive it. If you have this particular habit, find other ways to occupy your hands. Hold a pen or clipboard, carry a folder around, even carry merchandise that is perhaps on sale or special to get customers' attention and possibly start a dialogue if they have questions about the item. One way which you should not attempt to overcome this habit is by putting your hands in your pockets. While this does solve the problem of closing off your body to your customers, it can make you look dishonest or uncaring, so it ends up solving one problem by creating another. Keep your hands open and neutral. Don't ball them into fists, as this can indicate hostility. Again, if this is something you find yourself doing out of habit, find something else to occupy your hands which will not become a distraction. Smiling is one of the most commonly used expressive gestures. This is one of the few movements or gestures which is understood worldwide as the same universal symbol of friendship, happiness, and camaraderie. A true smile is warm and inviting, and often inspires others to respond in turn. A fake smile is seen as being deceptive or being associated with someone who perhaps does not have the best interests in mind. Many people have a fake smile that they use when they want to appear genuine without truly feeling it. The problem with most fake smiles is they never reach the eyes, and so they're easy to spot as fake. If you're going to smile at your customers, it has to be authentic. A true smile pulls back not only the mouth and lips, but it also pulls back at the muscles at the corners of your eyes. Unless company policy states otherwise, a sales interaction should never begin with a handshake. Most people associate handshakes with trust and friendship. Most people also distrust salespersons. Because those two associations or beliefs are so opposite, the customers may feel that they are being approached with an offer of a handshake, that they are being forced or tricked into admitting trust or friendship. Acknowledge the customer, greet them, talk to them, and respond if they initiate a handshake, but don't initiate it yourself until the end of the interaction. This will solidify the trust and relationship that you established. Eye contact is generally regarded as a sign of trust. If you refuse to look at your customer, you're telling them that you don't believe what you're saying. Or perhaps you don't entirely know what you're saying, and letting them know they should not trust you. Looking directly into the customer's eyes is difficult, as your eyes will want to naturally move from one eye to the other and back again, which can be disturbing for the customer. In order to establish dominance, looking anywhere from 1 inch above the bridge of their nose down to the tip of their nose will give the power temporarily to you and is a good way to get their attention. A slightly less threatening place to look is at one eyelid or the other, enough that your gaze is directed towards their eyes but you are not staring at them. Rubbing the index finger and thumb of either hand together is going to indicate to your customer that you're thinking about how to help them spend their money. It demonstrates to them that you are expecting them to buy something. This can non-verbally tell the customer that they are making a poor choice in dealing with you, or they will be spending more money than they originally intended. This is a gesture which needs to be avoided. Just as there are things to avoid, there are a number of things that you should do with your customers. If your customers are willing to laugh with you, it is a clear indicator that they have begun to bond with you and are comfortable with you. Since most interactions tend to be brief, and are often between yourself and a total stranger, there isn't a lot of time to build trust or rapport. If your customer is comfortable enough to laugh with you or to tell jokes to get you to laugh, it means they're ready to start trusting you. Unless your customer chooses to break the personal distance barriers, you should always keep yourself distant enough that you are not making them feel uncomfortable. Generally, being less than 12 inches away from someone indicates intimacy and will make most people very uncomfortable when dealing with a stranger. 1 to 3 feet away is still a more personal zone, but if the customer initiates this kind of closeness, then it is appropriate to continue it if you're comfortable with that distance. 4 to 12 feet away from the customer is the proper professional zone, which allows you to be close enough to talk comfortably, but far enough away that the customer does not feel crowded. Crossing your arms over any part of your body, or turning sideways to the customer so you are not facing them head-on, is going to be seen as defensive, or that you're giving the power to them. Your customer should feel more like equal partners than like the dominant party during any interaction. To help foster this, face them squarely with your hands at your sides. If you say what you mean, and mean what you say, your body should follow suit. If you have a true belief in the message that you're giving to your customer, your body language and facial expressions should naturally reflect that information and be effective. Hand gestures are a good way to emphasize a point. If you utilize them, make sure they are expressive but also neutral. Keep your hands within 8 to 12 inches of your body to avoid over-gesturing. Additionally, if the gesture is a positive one, gesture towards yourself or your customer. So if you're trying to articulate how a product or service is going to benefit the customer, the gesture should be directed at them. If you're explaining why you are unable to accommodate a customer request, gesture should be directed away from you and the customer. Show that you are attentive to what your customer is saying or doing by leaning your upper body slightly towards them by no more than 2 or 3 inches. This will make you appear to be listening very intently to what the customer is telling you. Leaning slightly away from them will show thoughtfulness and reflection prior to answering their concerns. People will often mirror or mimic another person's body language out of respect or agreement. This is a way to help build rapport with the customer if they are in a positive or neutral mood. It will help you to gain acceptance and trust from your customers more quickly so that they will be more willing to listen objectively to what you have to say. When working with a couple or a group of people, watch for a moment to find out which person in the couple or group is the initiator and which one mirrors. Follow the lead to take your hints at mirroring from the dominant person in the party. In summary, body language is key to your customer interactions. Your customers will respond to you if they see your sincerity. Smiling genuinely, keeping your body open towards them, and maintaining eye contact will go a long way to solidifying a relationship with your customer. Remember that just because your intent is not to come across as uncaring, unapproachable, or defensive, some postures may be read that way. If your arms are crossing over your body, you're closing it off to customers. Moving in too closely to customers can be just as potentially damaging as not moving towards them at all. You never get a second chance to make a first impression, so always aim to impress. Know how your body is going to react, and work on making minor changes that will have the most positive overall effect. Thank you for joining us for this customer service module on using body language during customer interactions.